Hi, and welcome to the Decreasing Elopement PD video. My name's Sarah Martin, the Student Services TOSA, here in Palm Springs Unified School District on the General Ed Behavior Support Team. First, we're going to try to reframe elopement. Elopement is a flight response for students, usually. Sometimes students learn that elopement gets them a lot of attention, and they can then exhibit that behavior in order to gain attention. But usually students are not running away from adults, they're running toward regulation, safety, or control. If we only focus on stopping the behavior, we miss the need. Our goal today isn't to stop kids from moving, it's to reduce their need to escape. Why does elopement happen? Some common triggers include that the student is overwhelmed due to noise, demand, or transition. There's a loss of control or predictability for the student. There is social stress or a perceived threat. Unmet sensory needs or an escalating adult can trigger elopement. Elopement is often predictable and not random. Patterns usually appear around transitions, independent work, unstructured time, or after correction or public attention. So let's talk about prevention, reducing the need to run. Prevention beats a reactive intervention every time. So predictability and control is the first strategy. Use visual cues, first then language, and choice within non-negotiables, such as, do you want to start with the odd or even problems? Transition supports. Give students transition warnings with the time and task. Preview where bodies are expected to be by modeling, and movement before transitions, not after. Regulation access. Normalize breaks before dysregulation. Prearrange exit options, a hall walk, water, check in with another adult. Teach the student how to ask for a break while they are at baseline. You can use language like, if your body starts feeling like it needs to leave, here is what you can do instead. Consider, what can I do to help before the student elopes? A lot of times we don't think about the elopement until it's actually happening, but we want to shift our focus to that time just before the elopement happens. Some in-the-moment strategies that I wanted to talk about include safety first, connection over control. What not to do. Don't yell across the room, chase unless safety requires it, threaten consequences mid-crisis, or demand eye contact. The amygdala and prefrontal cortex form a crucial neural circuit for emotional regulation, with the amygdala detecting threats and initiating rapid emotional or fight or flight responses. The prefrontal cortex acts as a regulatory control center, assessing these alerts, managing emotional expression, and inhibiting impulsive reactions. A healthy balance allows for effective, rational, and calm action, while weak connectivity based on chronic stress can disrupt the interaction, leading to anxiety or poor decision-making. When we are triggered or escalated, our amygdala takes over and cannot listen to the prefrontal cortex. Therefore, rational thought and learning is impossible. That's why threatening consequences or teaching lessons mid-crisis is ineffective. What you can do is have a calm body and slow your voice. Use fewer words and have neutral statements, not questions. An example language includes, I see you need space, I'm here. We will talk when your body is calm. You're safe, let's slow down. We want to get simple, clear messages through to our students when that prefrontal cortex amygdala connection is offline. If you must intervene for safety. Use procedures that you have been trained on doing. Keep language minimal and neutral. Focus on restoring calm, not teaching a lesson. Next, I'm going to talk about some scenarios. Often we think that we have to be the adult and handle the situation. Nowadays, an authoritarian approach will often escalate the situation. So we want to try to focus on an approach to help the student regulate and not escalate. Scenario 1 is the transition runner. It's time to transition from recess back to class. A third grade student freezes, refuses to line up, and then suddenly runs toward the end of the playground. You call their name and they keep going. Would you stop? Would you say, stop your running or you will lose recess tomorrow? Or say, I'm here, let's walk back together when your body is ready? Option B is a more regulatory response for a teacher to use. Scenario 2 is the work avoider. During independent math, a middle school student crumples their paper, stands up, and walks quickly towards the door. Would you respond with, you're being disrespectful, come back here and finish your work right now? Or, I can tell this feels overwhelming, we'll figure this out after a break. Option B helps the student to regulate and provides a scenario where they can come back to class successfully. Here are some scenarios that I have heard in my years as a teacher. The returning student. A student took a break and was re-entering the class. The teacher said, "Oh, you're finally back. You'd better get right to work this time. I don't want to deal with any more of your problems." He eloped. Next, a student was talking during independent work. The student sat in the back. I was in the front of the room, and I said, "Who's talking?" "Oh, it's you. That is more than enough. How many times have I told you that you need to be silent during independent work time?" Guess what the student did? He eloped. So some things to consider before addressing elopement might include, are you regulated? What can you do with your body, tone, and words to help the student? And what can you do before the situation? And finally, what replacement skills should be taught once the student has returned to baseline? After the run, remember to repair the damage that may have happened during elopement. Validate the student's feelings, reflect on what happened, teach once the student is at baseline, and plan a replacement behavior. Some replacement skill ideas might include asking for breaks, using visuals or signals, moving to a safe space with permission, and co-regulation with an adult. Always remember to intentionally teach skills the students need to learn. When classrooms feel safe, fewer students need to escape. So our goal should always be to foster a sense of safety in our classrooms. Something that I'd like for you to think about as we end this PD video is one thing that you can change before elopement happens. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Please reach out if you have any comments or questions.